Let's start off with our pieces. We have piece 14, the front and back, piece 15, the pocket, piece 16, the side, front and back, piece 17, the casing, and piece 15, the pocket lining. With the right sides together, pin the pocket lining sections to one front and back section at each side, matching the large dots, having the raw edges even. Sew about a 3/8 inch seam and then understitch the pocket. For each side, with right sides together, pin one pocket, the fabric pocket, to one side, front, and back section at the side edge, matching the large dots and having the raw edges even. Sew about a 3/8 inch seam. Press the seam toward the pocket, pressing the pocket out. Pin the side front to front at the side edges, matching the large dots. Sew the side front seams, leaving an opening between the large dots. Sew the pocket edges together to the side seam. I originally had a plan to make this skirt a little bit longer. So the front and back pieces are longer. I didn't account for the side pieces to be longer, so that's why this skirt looks like this, but eventually I will cut off the length that I added, just because I didn't add it to the side pieces, if that makes sense. Now you can see we have our pocket sewn. It's looking pretty good. Next, we want to clip the side front seam allowances below the pockets. Then we want to press the seams open below the clips. Next, press the pockets toward the front and baste the upper edges of the pocket. With right sides together, pin the remaining side front and side back sections to the back at the side edges, matching the notches, and sew. Sew the front to the back at the side seams. Now let's work on piece 17, the casing. Make the buttonholes in the casing at the markings. I used my sewing manual for my machine to follow this. Sew the casing sections together at the side seams, leaving open between the small dots. With wrong sides together, fold the casing in half lengthwise, matching the notches. Pin the raw edges together. On the outside, pin the casing to the upper edge of the skirt, matching the centers, notches, and side seams. Sew. Once the upper edge is sewn, sew again 1/4 inch away in the seam allowance. Next, we want to cut a piece of elastic about 26 inches long. Using a safety pin, we want to insert the elastic through the opening in the casing. Overlap the ends and sew the elastic together. Slip stitch the opening in the casing. Cut a piece of drawstring approximately 62 inches long. Insert the drawstring using a safety pin into the casing through one of the buttonholes and out through the remaining buttonholes, extending ends evenly. Tie the ends in a knot. Take the hem of the skirt and turn up 1/4 inch and press. Turn up the hem 1 1/4 inch again and press. On the right side of the fabric, sew close to the inner edge of that hem using a basting stitch. I used a stitch length of 5.0. And there we have it. This completes our sewing tutorial for Simplicity S3035 for View C. Thank you for tuning into this part 2. Until next time.